All right, today we're back and we're going to be replacing the carb on this Toro snowblower. Just a real quick rundown. This is the one I found for free alongside of the road. I first brought it home, primed it, pulled it, fired right up. The next time when I needed it, I put gas in it and it flooded itself out. Took off the carb, cleaned it, did the same thing. Cleaned it again, did the same thing. On these carbs that are original on this, there's a seal for the float valve that's up in the carb. It's not the needle itself, but it's up in the carb. And sometimes they just get so dry rotted that they can't be saved. Out of my years doing this, this is probably the second carburetor that I couldn't save by just doing what I do to them. So we got that new one from Amazon that I did a video on last time. So we're just gonna hurry up and dig into this. So these snow blowers are quite easy to work on. All you have to do is just lean it forward like that. Make sure it's still in the shot. Bring this up. And then there's only 2 screws to get this back plate off. Here and here. Right there's the carb. You can probably see it. So we'll just get right into it. And that's it. Back comes off pretty easy. So we have 2 more screws. Let me tighten this up. We got one here. It also is holding a tension spring. Don't forget that that's there. And then you have another one that's beyond this fuel line. So we'll remove the fuel line, remove the carburetor. All right, so we're gonna get the fuel line off of this. If you've seen in my last video with the carburetor, it had a it's on there pretty good. There we go. It had a fuel filter in it and it was broken. Well, since I'm replacing it with a cheap Chinese carb, I'm gonna put the fuel filter. Since I have them laying around the shop, I'm just gonna put it back on it. The reason why I'm removing this fuel part, not this end now, is because we're here and we can, because it's gonna go on the new one. All right, now we're gonna remove the bolts to get the carb out. And then that's it. The old carb's out. Now, we don't have to reuse this primer line because the carb that I have, the new one, already comes with a primer line. So we'll just set that off to the side. You want to make sure that you keep everything lined up. You got your spacer here. There's a gasket below it. So you just want to make sure that that's all nice and dandy in there. All right, so now we're ready to install the new one. Now, I was wrong in the video that I did last time. The top one is for the primer. The bottom one's for the return. This certain snowblower does not have a return on it. So I just put a piece of old fuel line on it. Well, new fuel line, but fuel line, and then put a screw in it. Since this is my snowblower, I'm fine with doing it like this. And if this is a customer's snowblower, just do it the right way. I also ended up slotting the screws because it seems like they're about ready to round out. But once again, since this is mine, it's cool to do it this way. If it's a customer's, replace these with new ones. So the first thing we're gonna do is when we put this on, your throttle arm down in here from the governor is gonna go right in this hole. And then don't forget your return spring when you're putting this on. So we're gonna go ahead and get that all put on. And just snug on that first one because you got to adjust your tension arm on that. All right, so we got the carb on. I ended up turning the camera off because we had some issues with the bolts. Just trying to get them in there straight and everything, which it happens. So we got the carb all hooked up. We have the primer line all hooked up and the new primer bulb in. Now I'll show you real quick what I had to do. I actually had to Dremel out this hole for this new primer bulb to fit because it was just a different size. So if you're ordering stuff off Amazon and it says it comes with everything, not everything will fit. It's just, that's the way it is. They're weird over there. So we got that all set up and everything. So what we're gonna do is we are going to get this last piece on. All right, last thing we're gonna do is the fuel filter. So, kind of want to be careful where you put these. Your original line will go in like that. So, you're gonna want it right around the middle here. So what we'll do is just take a pair of scissors, do a simple cut. Sometimes these say which way the flow is. A lot of the times they don't. On the smaller cartridge style ones, usually it doesn't matter. And then we'll just put the other side on. These new clamps that I got are extremely tight. That's not always a bad thing, so just getting them on can be a pain a little bit. All right, now we'll just put the fuel line back on. Put the clamp back on. All right, now we're ready to put some gas in it and see if it leaks or not. We don't have to put on this back shield for now just to see if it's running. Once it's running and we can confirm that it's not leaking, then we can put the cover back on. All right, now we're gonna fire it up and make sure that it's not leaking and it runs. All right, so far so good, and we can continue to put that back piece on and pretty much wrap it up and call it a day. All right, so we ran it for a little bit and we confirmed that it's not leaking anymore, which is totally awesome. So what we're gonna do is button up the back of this, and I'll show you how easy this is. You just set the bottom tabs in there. Well, actually, you're gonna wanna slide it down over your choke very gently, and then just put it into place. And then just screw it in. Kind of in a hurry, I gotta go to my work soon, so. And then do the other one. And that's it. Snowblower's done. It's not leaking. Like I said, when you buy carburetors off Amazon, be prepared to have them not exactly line up. And like I said, the primer bulb didn't exactly line up either. When I fired it up for you guys, I didn't even have to choke it. I just primed it 3 times, pulled it, and it fired right up. So that's a-okay in my book. So any questions or comments, let me know down below. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, whatever, up to you. But thanks for watching.